Right, this is a very sensitive time just before lunch, and I have the mandate to complete this within that time of 35 minutes, and we have a lot to discuss. I think the topic is of course often spoken about, discussed, debated, especially by its key stakeholders, the Bar Council of India, the University Grants Commission, the judiciary, the academic, and as well as the law students and the legal practitioners. That's a very important topic of how we need to revamp, relook at the legal education system, I mean, a lot individual examples. Let me start with you, Mr. Pathan. I'll start with you. We talk about the overhaul. We talk about, what are the bigger issues, what are the challenges in the legal education system. But if I want to understand from you, what kind of overhaul is currently required to make it more contextual, relevant, what would be your response?
Thank you very much, and very good afternoon to the entire the panel of this August gathering, and all stalwarts of this legal field indeed. And I'm thankful to Dr. Batra as well, and this entire, BW Legal World team. Let me put in this way, especially in the context of, this legal education and revamping legal education. That was the important, area to be discussed, and how exactly, we have to now go ahead or move forward, especially in the context of legal education. Most of the thing, Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh sir, Dr. Rao, he had these people, they have already, said that particular, the tone. But let me first of all recognize and identify certain important, the gray areas where exactly this entire, the legal, or we can say this law field, or we can say all law institute, they can work upon. I remember indeed the Justice Kaul's observation last year, where he was, dealing with certain important, the case, and where he was having certain important observation, more specifically in the context of that, that law schools and more specifically law school should work as a lawyer schools, or as a more specifically as a legal consultant school. So he wanted to indeed point out this particular point, that the legal education in the different law schools and law universities, that should reflect that particular capacity building, which should match to this now current, new happenings, contemporary happenings. Because now, after this globalization, industrialization, and more specifically this, foreign direct investment, a lot of changes have, occurred. More specifically, the technological advancement has also brought new important complex issues. Now, if legal industries or law firms tomorrow, or even the judges tomorrow, if they want to, resolve those particular problems, they should have that kind of competency. So that kind of competency through course curriculum, now down the, we can say at the ground level, that kind of competency that should reflect through course curriculum. In legal education, more specifically different law schools, not only we are talking about those, 50% the law schools, or more specifically, not only that, that particular, the box where 15%, the students' requirement is being taken care, but we are talking about the entire, the legal education and all universities and law, the institutes of the country. So how exactly they have to work upon? So first of all, course curriculum is very, very important.
Right.
Because how exactly
I'll come to that, but essentially your recommending a more holistic approach of looking at, because there are multiple problems. I'll come to it, but I'll request my panelists to keep it to 2 minutes so that we could have my questions. You know, I have a set of questions and I could ask all of them. Dr. Kulshreshtha, your initial comment on the existing, what are those gray areas, those problem areas, the pain points that you see in the current legal education system?
First of all, thank you, Businessworld Legal, for organizing this wonderful event. I have my teachers here, I have my colleagues, I have my students, so thanks for that. My understanding is that artificial intelligence is posing a grave threat or an opportunity. You can count it either way. We are somehow slow to adapt to AI because the rote learning or memory test, which was so far working, will not work in times to come. That is one gray area we need to be very, very clear about. And I was in a Microsoft presentation a month back, and the team gone through a 300-page document. It was a claim document, insurance claim document, and they asked the question that, is this claim having any fatality? Answer came no. AI was doing it 30 seconds odd. Is it maintainable? Answer came yes. So you put the answer, and within second the answer is coming. So you don't need a person to go through the document and come up with the things. So that was a very amazing thing which I came to know, that what we are doing is not going to be relevant for AI especially. So that is going to, as was told by Mr. Batra also, that many jobs will become redundant. As Professor Rashmi Singh was telling, that teachers have to reform. We cannot go on with the rote learning. That is one gray area which I see. Second is, even if AI comes, certain jobs will remain relevant. That is, if we have to go to ancient wisdom, that Guru Shish Parampara will come back, will help us. Where we treat our student as our Shishya, and we develop that student in a good human being who can critically think on feet. That is one observation I have to make. Right. I am recalled of a Man Ki Baat program of Honorable Prime Minister Modi. He told in that around a year back, how many students call us in their marriage. That is test of our connect with the student. How many teachers we visit. That is our connect with the profession. Like I am proud, I visit my teachers and I feel nice with them. Are we connecting with our student? Are we calling student for dinner, for coffee? Are we interacting with them at a human level? Are we just shop creating professionals?
Right.
That is going to be a game changer. And I think we have to take this wisdom from ancient times.
Right. No, absolutely. I think one of the points of AI is, in fact, it will make us more intelligent. You know why? Because AI will give us all that needs to be mugged up, but then after that you need some original stuff. So it will force us to be original, in fact, the other way around. Dr. Nagpal, in your daily practice of teaching and imparting education, what is the improvement that can happen in your view?
First of all, thank you so much, Businessworld team, for inviting us here. Our most respected mentor, teacher, and guide, Professor Ranbir Singh, all the esteemed guests, my co-panelists, and dear students. What improvements, as Sir was asking, who's from 5 years, who's from 3 years? I come from 3 years background, and now when I sit for a moot court competition, be it in my college or be it elsewhere, I find I go back to my moot court way back in the year 94. That too, one moot court in the last semester of a 3 years program at Punjab University, Chandigarh. And I remember for one problem on restitution of conjugal rights, 3 university participating, 3 prizes, and we forgot what is argument. We fought. And for this one trophy towards the end of 3 years law program was we were somehow to grab it. So we forgot what is time duration. no idea about mooting skills at all. And I still remember that time, Professor Mr. Kapil Sibbal's father, Mr. Hiralal Sibbar, presiding over as the judge. He was astonished on seeing us and was smiling all through. That it is a trophy which is important irrespective of everything. And now, when we look at moot courts, I find it is a sea change. And when it is the best part of the law school, the Punjab University Law Department was, though as Professor Ranveer Singh remarked, it was the last choice. Nobody could get admission anywhere, would come to the law department. But then the classroom was excellent. We never ever wanted to miss any of the lecture. Internship during the classes was nowhere in place, or even during the vacations. But our classroom was full of interest, full of humor, and days to remember now as well. So now I find that law school should be rigorous, our class to be vibrant, and there should be collaborative environment in the law school. That is what is desired. Thank you so much.
Somewhere the importance of the teaching, the faculty, the quality of faculty matters here, the point that you have raised,
Definitely.
right?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Dr. Salpekar, let me reframe my question to you and Dr. Salim, that what is good in the legal education system today, which was not there, say, a few years back?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me thank everyone. Our teachers, Professor Ranveer Singh, my colleagues, my dear students, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the question. I always wanted to speak on positive side, so thank you so much. You have given me a very good positive question. Yes, there are many things which are really very good. Like Professor Ranveer Singh sir was also highlighting that once upon a time there was a time when if someone is not getting any admission, they used to come in the legal field. But however, all the students who are coming, they are coming by choice, mostly of them. They have a lot of clarity that what exactly they wanted to do. Teachers, they are also very focused, and all technology is there to help them. So there are many things which are positive, because like regulatory body, let's start with this, Bar Council of India. Yeah, whether they should draft or not, that is another issue. But the point is, at least there is one regulatory body who is into this particular affair, that yes, we are required to draft course curriculum. Then universities, they are also required to follow some kind of model or some kind of regulations. There are various statutory compliances also which we are required to do. Of course, there are some negativities also of the same. But then if we wanted to highlight the positive side of the legal profession, then I should say that all of us, we are taking legal profession very seriously. Not only the students, parents and teachers and the institution, but entire world is taking this education or this profession very seriously. They are expecting a lot, not only to serve the bar and the bench, but I would say that they are required to be the policy makers, the policy drafters as well. And ultimately, we are required to serve the society. So therefore, legal literacy, for that matter, to reach in the rural area wherein we can serve people. So as the growth is coming, in India, India is growing a lot. I would say that problems will also grow, and therefore we are required to be on our toes. Each and everything is not possible to cover in course curriculum. What is required is that we are required to make our students in such a way that they will be able to adapt things. Like when we have done our law school, we have not done trade law as a compulsory subject. We have not done some other technical subjects also as a compulsory subject. But now these are compulsory subjects. But after 10 years, 20 years, you will find that there is more demand for some more areas. Then how we will do it? Is it so that again we will come back? So not necessary that for each and everything we are required to see the course curriculum as a solution. But we are required to inculcate the critical skills amongst our students so that they will be able to adapt for the future challenges. And all these things are happening. So therefore, I think that these are what are the positive points. Thank you.
Right, I think, so the conversations, of course, the changes, are already underway. And I think it's not only that it's a total revamp, the factors are already in place, the things are getting changed, and you can see that in some of the areas which you highlighted. Dr. Salim, you've heard all the panelists. I know it's a tricky situation to be speaking right after 4 panelists. But though this is a day in and day out conversation for you, what is how do you see this entire question of revamp? Where do we stand? Have we improved? Your take on this?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to speak over here in the presence of an August gathering. I must have to say thanks to Professor Ranveer sir for giving a very special keynote address over here to educate all of us, being the educators, but we all require our energies to be revamped and energized by the best words of Professor Ranveer sir and all that. I must have to say over here and confess over here that we as a law school, I mean Lloyd Law College or school, that we have been extremely benefited by the guidance of Professor Ranveer sir and Professor Madhav Menon sir in last many years. I first met sir when sir came to Delhi for starting the National Law School when he was in Nalsar, and since then we have been taking regular guidance from sir. The question that is being in every corridor right now, I mean whether it is the corridor of the court or the corridor of the regulators of the legal education or the everywhere. I mean, the question is the quality and content of the legal education, and how we can be more relevant for this for the society, for the industry, for the students, for the parents, and for the challenges that we have in our legal system and social system and political system in the present time and the time to come. I see 2 important aspects to bring before this August gathering, to be speaking very true to my mind, that large number of problems with the legal education is not with the regulators. Large number of the bigger share of problem with the legal education process or system is not with the policy. The bigger share of the problem is an internal problem of the law school. How an institution is trying to institutionalize the values of legal education dissemination process in their own system. Because being a law school, we have got the opportunity from Bar Council, from university. So let's say, for example, there are more than 25 national law schools in India. Do we see all the national law schools at par? No, we don't see. Everybody knows. Why? It is not because of location every time. It is not because of the vice chancellors every time. It is not because of the state funding every time. Money doesn't run the knowledge institutions. No, it never happens. Important is how the people who are running the institution, how focused, passionate they are towards and sensitive towards the students' community, who is the most important factor in an institution, who is to be educated, who is to be oriented, and who is to be supported. As Dr. Pradeep sir was saying, how long we are associated with our students during the law school, after the law school, during their lifetime. So I confess and I say that the bigger problem is how we are trying to build the institution and how we are trying to train and create the best values and best product in the form of our students.
Right.
And the answer lies in us and how we can do it better and better, taking cues and lessons from the best law schools in India and abroad. Yes, it is open to us.
Right. I think it couldn't be more sincere that you accepted that the bigger share of problem is within the law schools themselves, and they need to address it, which they are addressing, right, at the same time. So a lot of, I think, different issues coming up, right, from the AI factor to the institutional factor to the faculty things, some positive developments. So a mixed view definitely here, a very diverse view. Let me change gears. Let me go to my second question, starting with you, Dr. Pathan, which is, of course, the problem is bigger. The size of the problem is bigger. What we're talking about is at an ecosystem level. But let me come to an institutional level. If I talk about the GD Goenka University, what kind of what kind of steps have you undertaken to address the larger factors and implement at least whatever is implementable at the institutional level? If you could give us some examples of that.
Thank you. Indeed, when we are talking about market-driven, required outcome of the student, which will match to the market. Accordingly, as far as concerning to GD Goenka University Law School, recently, before 3 years, we have, totally revamped the entire, this curriculum. Because when we are talking about how exactly this outcome-based education will be more and more focused, because that is ultimately, important for legal professionals. So when we are, talking about the skilling to the students, because almost, Professor Ranbir Singh sir as well, and Professor Rao sir as well, and Dr. Pradeep sir as well had also stated this particular aspect, that one particular lawyer or legal consultant required almost 60 kind of skills. So that kind of skill, how exactly through course curriculum we can, imbibe.
You said 60, 60.
60, more than 60 skills. Right from drafting to, advocacy, communication to, problem solving to critical thinking to, there are many, many kind of, skills. So if you'll see, as far as concerning to GD Goenka University and the law school, we have, brought, apart from these, 36 courses, certain skill-based courses, and more specifically, certain value-based courses. Say, for example, now we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence and law. We are talking about mediation and conciliation as one of the important growing area, which is, market-driven area. So accordingly, we have developed these kinds of, the platform for the students through clinical courses.
Right.
Through, more specifically, our, legal aid team as well, our legal aid clinic as well, they are, working on mediation. Right. They are also working on, arbitration process. Apart from this, extension activity, where, student, they will also be getting this kind of, skill and they will be working. So accordingly, we have also introduced in our curriculum, apart from BCI mandated courses, apart from that, like computer and research skill, which is ultimately important. When we are talking about, diversity of the student, to cater that particular aspect, we have to also make competent to those category of students as well, who can match to the market.
Get the point. I think what you're also trying to say is that you listen to the market as well, if I call it a market, and then you implement something which is relatable. Yeah. It's not in its own, it has some relevance on ground, right? That's on what GD Goenka has been doing. Great. Dr. Kulshreshtha, if you could share your example of what Bennett University is doing at its own institutional level to bridge those gaps, to address the pain points.
Thank you for a good question. These two watches in front of me, one now, it is showing 11 minutes and it is counting the time. And a teacher goes to class thinking that he has 50 minutes or 1 hour to express some idea. So this is really a big constraint.
We should do that in the class, right?
Because I know you want to wind up within 10 minutes with 4
No, I want to address the discomfort of some of the audience that we have
I know.
12 minutes and we break for lunch.
Yeah, and then people are setting up lunch also, I can see them. So a big topic, just wanted to add some humor to it. Bennett is a big media brand. It's the world's largest media group, and they have best practices. I have been to many private universities. And what I see, that a lot of flexibility. Students are 90% on the campus, so you can plan any event, and students are more than happy to come forward. Some of my students are here. You have to just give them some idea. We had a 1 week long constitution celebration last November. We had Justice Nagaratna, who is going to be first Chief Justice of India lady. She did the inaugural address. And we had Attorney General for India. We had professors, Professor Bakshi, Professor MP Singh. Professor Ranveer Singh was occupied that time, so we could not have him. Twice I have requested sir to come, but both the time he excused himself on one other pretext, joined virtual, but. Yes. So, great institution with lot of good ideas, lot of flexibility, and I'm sure if such institutions are coming with lot of corporate backup, the future of legal education is bright. Nobody can stop that.
So it's partly making it more immersive, you know?
Yeah, it's very
more
immersive.
fun, I would, if I use this word on a legal forum, I don't know, but to make it more interesting, right? That's the idea.
It's
right?
a blend of classroom and experiential learning. It's not only classroom. It's more beyond.
Beyond that.
Yeah.
Great, so that's the innovative approach. Dr. Nagpal, what innovations have you undertaken to, I mean, you cited the example of how your teachers, you know, nobody missed a class, maybe because the power of the faculty, the way they taught. But how are you trying to make it more immersive that students really come, because they are not forced, because they have to attend because of the attendance, you know, but they really want to learn. How do you do that?
Thank you so much. And it is, since my institute is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, so we have constraint on the curriculum. We cannot devise anything on our own. But so far as other things are, soft skills are concerned, so far as the value enhancement is concerned, we provide value-added courses to each one of them, which is starting from soft skill, entrepreneurship development, to courses on maritime laws, compulsory mentor-mentee program, which includes other value-added courses like courses on AI, cyber security, forensic sciences, cyber forensic, all these which are nowhere there in the traditional curriculum. So that is just the skill enhancement. And as sir said, that you have to develop this spirit that you either perform or perish. So that is upon those lines that each and every student is inculcated with holistical development, keeping in mind that we don't have to be an average in life, but to do something which is extraordinary.
Wonderful.
So that is important. Thank you so
Wonderful. Dr. Salpekar,
Yes, thank you so much. So as sir was pointing out about time, so even in academic session also, we are also required to follow the time. You know, in one semester, we are required to run after our students, after the syllabus, and all those things which we are required to do. So how we are managing it? I'm in Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies, and Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies believes in inculcating sense of responsibility amongst the students. And our motto is in pursuit of perfection. So there is a lot of responsibility on all of us teachers, because with this motto, how to serve the, this legal profession as also our students. And actually what we do, we only build, or we only, feel, and we only try to have better connectivity. My student should not feel that how to ask this question to my teacher should not feel that how to ask this question to the dean, and the dean should not feel that how to ask my teachers and my students. So that cordial relationship, because of that we are able to enhance academic atmosphere. And in academic atmosphere, how we learn a lot of things from each other in a limited time, we also do not know. And my students are also here, they are also listening very carefully what dean is saying. And in addition to this, yes, we are required to go beyond the syllabus, beyond the text, I would say, because clinical legal education is very much required. And however, our course curriculum, even though we are having internship, compulsory internship, but that is not only the way to give clinical legal education. So therefore, we are required to run many events, activities which are skill-based, so that my students will be able to have confidence when they are entering into the legal world. Thank you.
of course, I think what you mentioned about that communication part, it might appear simple, but it's very significant. I mean, imagine having a relationship with your teacher, that you can open up and ask questions and actually have that environment facilitate. I think that's a big change itself. Kudos on that. Dr. Salim, your comment on what is happening at the Lloyd Law College, I mean, the larger problems, how are you addressing it at an institutional level?
So we are more, yes, as all the panelists have spoken about the same, and I agree that academic excellence in the classroom and academic discipline and disseminating the academic knowledge in the best way is one most important objective of any law school, be it here in India or everywhere in the world. One most important thing, the way we have transformed our law school in last 10 years is we are trying to convert the students into more skill-based learning. And we have taken up the route, as Professor Ranveer sir was saying, mooting is one of the way in which more than 24 skills are actually imparted or extracted or inculcated in the students. And we have run the law school in India which is participating in almost all the moods in India and all the moods in the world. And we are one of the law school who have qualified the maximum international moods in the last 2 years. And today, 4 o'clock, my team is traveling to Frankfurt. One of my team is going to Nuremberg. Only 3 teams from India qualified to Nuremberg trial in 2022 or 23. And this is the second time we qualified for Nuremberg. This is the second time we qualified for Frankfurt. Only 5 teams from India. And we qualified for John H. Jackson in WTO mood, and only 5 teams from the whole of India, whole of South Asia. So, I mean, we have transformed our law school into more skill-centric learning. Be it the mooting, be it the debate competitions, be it anything which is happening in the name of skills, be it specific legal skills or professional skills or any kind of soft skills or hard skills which are required for a law student to be a better professional. Right. We are just trying to invest everything in that. I'm spending my own money in the form of, law school. We are funding our students to travel abroad. We have sent our team to almost 12 international mooting competitions, from ticketing to lodging to daily expenses over there. We are spending everything, we are funding everything to our students. And that is the way, because of this, we are seeing the result from the students that they are turning to be a better, because they are competing the best teams in the world, and they are able to rub their shoulders with the best teams in the world, and they are able to showcase and deliver the best platforms in the world.
Right.
One of my students is sitting over here, and he has been just back 2 months back. He is from Vienna, participating from our law school in the William C. Wyss International Moot, and we are participating in both the William C. Wyss, East and West both,
right.
and 2 separate teams, 15 students. So I mean, this has been my mandate, which we learned from Professor Ranveer sir, Professor Madhav Menon sir, that focusing on the career of a students, aspiration of the students, investing the time and money of the law school and teachers' time on the aspirations of the students, and focusing them, giving them orientation, support, and guiding them through the law school and supporting them even after the law school. This is, I think, the best thing that we are able to achieve.
Right.
And we are going to way forward in the same direction.
I
Thank
think
you so much.
nurturing them in a holistic way, not
Yes.
just the academic rigor, but beyond that as well. Overall, I think that's a common point emerging. So I have almost 1.5 minutes, but it would be unfair of me that we have such legal luminaries here not to kind of, invite them to ask a question and we conclude with that. Any one of you has a question, please, yes.
I'm Siddharth Singh. I'm actually from GLC, a graduate from GLC. I just passed out from ILAC. So I like the panel's discussion on immersiveness of learning, but I think we didn't shed light on inclusivity, is where legal education actually lies. Dr. Rao was talking about bilingual education in our country. What I feel is that in legal education, you might get bilingual learning also, but it's always the courts that has to accept your language of mode of lingua franca. In short, what I mean to say is, so shouldn't this be a top-down approach rather than a bottom-up approach, because the law schools will always cater to the market and not the other way around.
All right, okay, I think you heard the question. Okay, we can have multiple responses. We have 2 minutes, yeah.
Indeed, let me put this inclusivity and more specifically, this particular perspective of bilingual, this is ultimately depend, on that particular structure of that law school or that particular, process. See, as far as concerning to GD Goenka University, what important model which we have taken into consideration, that is mentor-mentee approach, and more specifically where the student, they required, because student come from, diverse group, and through this diverse group, we have to cater the needs of that particular, set of group as well. So in that particular perspective, what exactly we have done, we have, introduced this overall performance indicator of the student. If he is, lacking somewhere in certain communication, we are identifying that kind of, his lackness or his, lagging behind that communication. We are specifically providing a session through this mentor-mentee model, so that kind of, bilingual, approach, or more specifically in his vernacular language, that particular course is being, taught to that student in that mentorship program. So that is, different programs are there, no doubt, to cater the needs of this diversity.
At Bennett University, to ensure inclusivity and level playing field, we offer very liberal scholarship. And also we have other programs, like we have a program especially suited for law and AI, where you can use AI for a lot of learning tools. Then we also have students who are doing summer internship abroad at completely paid. So we are focusing, and then our faculty, they are getting up to 3 lakh rupees to go abroad, pursue their education, so that now globalization is the only way. We can't shrug it off. So at Bennett, we focus on all these parameters, and there is a 24/7 connect with the student, so that nobody is left out.
Sorry, so it's more dynamic. The responses are actually, they are taking into account all these factors and addressing it. It's not just set in, stone, so that's how it is. So because of the lack of time, I have to end it here, but I want to thank all of you for making those valuable points, sharing your insights, and to the patient audience just before lunch, thank you all of you for joining us.